Hey Amira, where have you been?
We already waiting for you for a long time, Amira.
Sorry, Haida and Mahira. Actually, I just finished my exam at the library. But I have a good news to tell both of you.
Wow, what is it, Amira?
Actually, I get an offer to study abroad.
Wow, congratulations Amira. I'm so proud
Wow.
of you.
But Aida and Mahira, I have few things that I still curious and afraid about. There was a many challenges that we would adapt as an international student at overseas, right? Can you
Oh,
share with me?
Okay, Amira. So I will go first.
Yeah,
Um,
Mahira.
for my opinion, the most common challenge that international student will face when they study in abroad is the feeling of homesick. Okay, as we all know, homesick is the common thing that all students will face when they study abroad because they will leave their family. They will left their family, right? So that's why I choose the feeling of homesick is the most challenging thing.
sorry Amira.
Yes, Aida.
What do you mean by homesick?
Okay, actually, homesick is we can define as a distress feeling that caused by being away from home for a long time of period. So, this homesick can occur especially when we in the surrounding that we are so unfamiliar, just like the student who are studying abroad. Of course, the situation very unfamiliar for them, right? So this feeling homesick can occurs in their self, especially when they are alone, when they doing something, or for example in the cafe they eat alone. Of course, they will, suddenly feel suddenly thinking about their home. They will miss about their mom's cook or anything that about that related about their home. So any of you want to add some of my point?
Sorry, I don't think that I don't disagree with your point because I think that homesick is not a big problem because they are all grows up and they can overcome the homesick by hanging out with friends or do some outdoor activities. How about Amira? Do you agree with my opinion?
Yes, I agree with you, Aida. But for me, Mahira, can you explain about what is the effect if homesickness getting more worse? Can you explain
Okay,
for me?
of course, Amira. I actually had do some research about this. Based on my research, they say that this feeling homesick also can lead to a serious condition, which is can lead to death if it not properly treated. That is because when you feel homesick and when the student feel homesick, they will, become really stressful and they cannot interact with others people around them because they always feel about home, and it will hard for them to eat, to sleep, and it will affect to their study. And as I said before, it can lead to their and it can lead to death, which is a very impactful that I think. So
Okay, guys.
how
Okay.
about?
Can I give my opinion?
Yes, Aida.
Okay. I think the most common challenges when study abroad is a financial problem. This is because students have to learn to properly manage their day-to-day finances. Some international students may be lucky to land a scholarship that will reduce their financial burden. That being said, all students will have to learn to budget. And in addition to tuition, students will still account or they need to account for housing, for food, transportation, and other living expenses.
But sorry, Aida.
Yeah.
As we all know, mostly that students are offered to study abroad. The government itself will offer them a scholarship, whether it just half or full scholarship. So I think it's not a big problem for them, especially for their financial, because I think that scholarship can afford them to study. Am I right, Aida?
Okay. Like I said before, just some of students will get a scholarship. Not most of students are lucky to get a scholarship. But I think in my side, if we get a scholarship, it's just not enough for us. to for our expenses at the overseas, because cost is generally expensive in a bigger city, and will also depends on lifestyles, choice of accommodations, and depends on spending habits. Sometimes it's a really get sometimes it's a really get tough to manage the expenses. Even if you are managing your money perfectly well, you can end up still broke and having a less than you need. So if we choose to if we choose for search for a work or for a job, it's still not easy for us to get a job at the country. You might know why is it not easy to get a job at country?
Yes. Do you mind to
Okay.
share?
Yes, you may share
This
it
is
with
because
us.
before we search for a job at at the overseas, first it depends on someone's determinations. If they do not have a if they are not feeling to do a job or or want to get more money, uh, they do not they do not do a job, or if someone is not hardworking, so
Spend all
it
the
just spend their money. Okay, second problem is
sorry,
uh
Aida,
yeah.
but can I add some my point? So, but as we all know, some university they provide part-time work in their university, such as uh, in the library they offer student to be a librarian, so they can get fees from that. So I think they can took this opinion from for them to add some extra money for them to survive. So, do you agree with me?
Okay, let me explain first. um if you want to search a job at the country, we need to double check the rules around our student visa. This is because based on the country that you are studying, they may be limited to the type and location that you can take, and you must always check your campus classified and different job for new opportunities. Moreover, you can go for part-time opportunities to manage your financials a bit better.
Mm.
For Myra question, I think they can go for the job, but in the semester one, I think their schedule is a bit packed, so I don't think that they have enough time to do the job.
Yeah.
So Amira, what do you think?
Yes, Ida and Myra, that for me, is it just they can find a job if they want, but majority of students, as we know, they could find a job as their part time and anywhere, right? But it's easy for it will not be a problem actually, because if they are very determined to be there to study and make their parent proud, so financial problem could not be one of problems that cannot be solved, right? Okay,
Okay,
Yeah.
it depends on their determination and hard work.
okay.
I
Last
agree
but
with
not
you.
least, okay. Can I finish my point?
Yes,
Yes, you
you
may,
may.
Aida.
Last but not least, not having your family with you to support you financially may cause some stress. And but again, we can take this as opportunities to learn how to develop our budget and to manage our money. So, Amira, can I know what the common challenge that you think when we are study abroad?
Thank you, Aida and Mahira, for the great opinion from both of you. Okay, for me, the most common challenges is about foods, halal food. As you know, we are Muslim, are very take serious about legal or permissible food that we need to eat, right? So, if the area that have halal food is far from the homestay or the house that the student live, it must be difficult. And plus, they do not have transport. So, that was the very biggest challenges for me as a student, actually.
Sorry, Amira.
And,
Can I
yeah.
add my point?
Yes, you
So,
may.
as we all know, in this modern era, a lot of apps can we use for for order food or other thing. For example, in our country, we have a Grab Food, Food Panda, and also Mac Delivery, right? So I think in the other countries, they also have their own apps that they make especially for Muslim, because as we all know, a lot of country nowadays they are more to Muslim friendly and Muslim friendly restaurant. So I think it's not a problem for the student to find a food from them because they can use this app. How am I right?
Yes, you're right, Myra. Wow, that is a great view, a very big view that I need to watch about it. But there will be more challenges if culture differences is a very common challenges for me as a student, because not only about food, as I stated before, it's all about transport system. In Malaysian, we are drive in the right, but in the overseas, they drive in the left. So it must be difficult for us to take a license and to to adapt with the transport system. And most a very serious thing is Malaysian as a Muslim, we are wearing a headscarf, but they don't. So it's a
Hello,
very
Amira.
difficult way. Yeah, yeah, Ida.
Okay. Can I say something about your point?
Yes, you may.
Okay, I think I disagree with your point because in my opinion, when we get an offer to study abroad, we must do some research about the country so that we can adapt the culture before we go there. So, what do you think? Do you agree with my point?
Yes, Ida. But do you want to know that
Yeah.
culture differences sometimes can lead to something that affect us being lonely, being like being
Oh,
affected by others' culture, like they are seeing us uh, do something wrong, but actually that was the culture. For example, this culture shock will lead to the frustration, depressed, and homesickness. So it's a very serious thing. Furthermore, for a student, because we need to take the time to adapt with college and another things.
Oh my God, there are a lot
oh.
of disadvantage. But
Okay,
Yeah.
Amira,
now I think I quite agree with your point. Okay.
Thank you, Aida.
So
I think
Yeah.
for my opinion, I really agree about your points. But I think the student can slowly adapt with that situation when, especially when it comes to the second years of their study, right? Because I think it's not possible for them to feel that way along their study period. Because of course there must be a teacher or friend that support them and also family support them for the student to adapt with that situation. So, do you agree?
Uh, I I actually don't agree with your point, because as I stated before, anxiety, homesick, and stress is sometimes we cannot handle it, even though we have a strange feeling to adapt it. But for sure, if you are stressed, you are better to be alone and sit alone to find a very calm
Yeah.
situation for you to solve. So if the student cannot be cooperate to cope with these things, it cannot be easy for them, and they will be suffered study at the overseas actually.
Yeah, I agree with you. So, after three of us had given our own opinion about this topic, so uh, I'm go first. I choose Amira's point, which is culture shock, right? So, because I think this problem conclude all the point that we stated before, right? And that's why I choose Amira's point as the most challenging thing that student will face when they are study abroad. So, how about you, Aida? Which points do you
okay.
choose?
I choose Amira Point, which is culture shock, because uh, they have, like Amira said before, they have a lot of disadvantages such as anxiety, homesick, stress, and they may take more time to adapt to the country. If we just have a financial problem, we can overcome that by do a job at the countries. So yeah, Amira, what do you think?
And for me, I choose and still stated with my point that the most common challenges is culture shock.
Oh, okay. So both
Okay.
three of us had made a decision. So, Amira, I hope you can think more about that and make a good
And
decision. And
make
good
a
luck.
good decisions and
Yes.
don't forget to do a preparation before you go there.
Yes. Good luck, Amira, for your study. So
Thank you,
Aida,
Aida and Mahira.
we already late right now. We must go to the
Oh, yeah.
library for
Okay, let's
our
go.
assignment. Okay, so let's go. Bye, Amira.
Bye, Amira. Take
Bye.
care.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
Bye.